you've made money or not in your business, right? And that's an important emphasis that I would say. Money's coming out of your pocket to pay the payroll, and yet you haven't made any money yet. You also have to pay, there's also rent to pay, right? Just because you put 100 grand down doesn't mean you're exempt from rent. Rent is going to run you anywhere from $1,000 to, it could be even $15,000 on the average per month. But the biggest thing that we're talking about is something called inventory, right? Which is what? And I'll usually use the example, if you look at a restaurant, they're called perishable items. You buy a bulk of chicken, you better cook it and sell it in time or else you lose your profit margin, right? We're talking about a business here, right? And I'll use examples like, if they didn't understand that, which most people do understand, I'd say, let's say you ran a clothing store. Weather's getting nice. All the stuff from the spring is going to be marked down on sale, isn't it? Because it's time sensitive. When it gets marked down on sale, you lose your profit margin. So when you're dealing with inventory, you're not only dealing with a high overhead, because you constantly have to reinvest back into your business, but it's time sensitive as well, right? So you look at a restaurant business, or you look at any businesses, this is what's required to run a business. So as great and as ambitious as you are, wouldn't you agree that this is a little bit tough, right? What I'm doing is I'm showing them bullet by bullet what it takes to run a restaurant. We're setting up the precedence. As long as we set it up with those bullet points, I'm going to knock it down eventually with Primerica to show why there's value in what we do, right? So we draw a line here and we say, there's 3 reasons why most people do not own their own businesses as much as they want to be their own boss, as much as they want to make a lot of money, as much as they want to have freedom of their own time. They can't because, one, it's a lack of capital, right? People don't have $100,000 lying around, would you agree? And constantly you're seeing that I'm rechecking and reaffirming what my message is to the person, right? Because I'll see a lot of people, they'll just run through this for the sake of running through it. But every bullet point here, every one of these things that I mentioned, capital, right? Capital, licensing, hiring and payroll, rent, and inventory, every single one of these points are relevant to any business. So lack of capital. Second thing is a thing called knowledge. And I'm sorry I can't write this over here. But a lack of knowledge, would you agree?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a lack of knowledge. People just don't know even how. Even if you had $100,000, where do you start? What are the logistics to open up your own business, right? You can't just open up a business in any neighborhood. There are zoning laws. And I'll throw stuff like that in there so that makes them think about it, right? And the last thing is something called fear, right? A little thing called fear. There's a lot of risk involved, isn't there? They say 80% of all businesses fail in the first 3 years. The odds are working against you, isn't it? Right? Now, these are the things, and this is what I say to kind of transition, okay? These are the things that are required to run your own business. Now, with Primerica, we offer an opportunity to have your own business, except these are not required. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. The initial capital, and once again, what you want to always do is you kind of draw the parallels, you draw the lines as parallels, right? And you say, right here, the initial capital, in order to start a business like this, runs about $1,400. Okay? It runs about $1,400 to start. Those are the state regulatory fees, the books, and all those things to start your business. Now, if you compare $1,400 versus $100,000, would you agree it's not even a comparison? Right? It's a no-brainer, wouldn't you agree? But in addition to that, what happens is you get the Primerica name that goes along with this. Elaine's restaurant, no one's ever heard of, right? You can't name it Chili's, can you?
No.
Why not? Because Chili owns the rights, right? That's called a franchise, and they will charge a fee for that, right? But with Primerica, you get to use the Primerica logo, the Primerica brand name, which has been in existence for 35 years, and you don't have to pay an overhead for that. Okay. The best part is this $1,400, the company will absorb and sponsor you on your behalf. So the only thing you're asked to make an investment of is $100. So what you're doing is you're kind of getting them fixated on the $1,400, right? And then from $1,400, hey, guess what? It's not 14, it's $100, right? Because $100 doesn't seem as bad now, right? Obviously, we're still comparing with $100,000, but it's $100, right? And from that point on, we also talk about licenses. We're able to get you licenses through the state of New York. Series 6 license, 63 license, exact certification. And you can list all of them. I'm not going to do that right now here, okay? But here's the biggest benefit for a business opportunity like this. What if we told you you can hire people, we will train them for you, and pay them for you. And every time they get paid, you get paid in the form of what we call an override. Let me explain. And I'll stop myself. Every time I make a statement like that, I will re-explain. It's okay to simplify and keep re-explaining. If you see their facial expression, it's up to you to read them. If they're just like kind of giving a blank stare, it's okay to go back. What I mean by that is, and you can catch yourself doing that more often than not. What I mean by that is, if I said you and I, we are business partners in the restaurant, right? And I told you, you can hire as many staff as you want, and I will pay their payroll for you. How many people would you hire? People are like, oh, as many as I can. Okay, well, in that case, what we're able to do is we're allowed to give you an opportunity to hire as many people as you want, and upon whenever they profit or they earn income, you yourself can earn income as well. So there's no limitation, right? And the best part is there's no rent, right? The last part is no inventory. You don't have to keep track of products, right? Stock up your garage with unnecessary products, right? We're in a service-oriented business. And sometimes I'll also throw this in here as well. I ask people, when you think of careers or professions, or professionals for that matter, that make a lot of good income, what professionals come to mind?
Doctors.
You hear people say doctors, lawyers, and I ask them, well, do doctors sell any products? Do they have inventory that they have to sell? No. They're servicing their clients, aren't they? Right? Lawyers, are they in the business of selling products? No. They're in the business of servicing. And I can go into dentists, accountants. It's all service, isn't it? What are we in? And I'll ask that question. We're in financial services, right? So would you agree that if this was A and this was B, it eliminates the capital, right? It eliminates the knowledge, and eliminates the fear. Because you could start this business on a part-time basis. Where else do you know where you can do that? So if you can run a business this way or this way, which would you choose?
B.
B, would you agree? You would say A, you want to put in all that money? And I'll kind of recheck it. I'll ask them. Because I've had maybe 2 or 3 times where people actually say A. I'm like, really? Okay, so, and then I'll revisit the points again. So do you have 100 grand? Right? And so on and so forth, okay? So the bottom line is this A and B, this is the tail end of it. The tail end of your 6-page presentation. So you should always give your clients an opportunity to earn some additional income. After this is done, it should be a natural transition where you're picking up either a life application or you're filling out the F&A forms. And when I don't think I've ever been in the field with any of you guys. Appointment except for you, right? I mean, I've took out Valerie on a couple of appointments already, and exactly we went through the same process, right? Do you have any questions from that? Because I know every time I take the time to explain some of the stuff, I don't expect you guys to do it all. I just want you guys to kind of go through the motions. So once again, if you draw the parallels, we're talking about capital, we're talking about licenses, we're talking about the recruiting process, we talk about the rent, and we talk about the inventory. So you have to be able to go jump back and forth and draw that parallel, okay? Elaine, do you have any questions from this? Annette, do you have any questions? Does it seem like a lot?
Actually, it seems really simple.
And I like that. It's supposed to sound simple. Marion, how do you feel about this?
No, I agree. I think it's very simplistic. And I think the chart's good when you draw it across
Yeah.
the visual.
Shonette?
Very, you know, it's a good cross-reference, definitely.
Lisa? Now, I know you guys have seen this before,
Yes.
but at the same time, now that I'm going through this, does it seem clearer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The whole idea is, and this is an important point, when you're recruiting, I want to share with you the number one recruiting principle out there. Don't sell the crumbs. In other words, we can talk about making extra income, maybe $100, $200 a week, right? And that's fine. But people join Primerica not to sell life insurance, not to sell investments necessarily. People, the majority of people who join Primerica is because they see the vision, the grander picture, right, Marion?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just make an extra couple of bucks, although it's good, although it's nice, but it's the bigger picture of it. It's the actual vision, it's the business side of what you're supposed to be selling. So this A and B, I think it does a good job. If you do it effectively, it does a good job of helping them understand the bigness of Primerica, right? Val, yesterday, did we not do this A and B with them?
Definitely.
Right?
Yes.
And she gave the example, restaurant owner, right?
Right, the exact, and it was perfect.
It fit right into the mold, right?
Right.
And she got it, she understands.
Right.
So whenever I speak to an actual business owner, they go, no, it can't be that simple. No inventory, no overhead, what? What kind of business is that? It's a financial service business, okay? Everybody on the same page with me on that? Okay. All right, so who wants to make an attempt at this? I love that. Annette, she's the first one to go.
I like to go first because before I absorb everybody else, I want to see how bad I am.
No, you know, what I'm gonna do is this, and I'm glad that you're actually gonna be last, okay? So I want you to observe everybody.